What's up guys, Matt Dash here from Blue Star Nutraceuticals. Welcome back to our Load and Explode program. We are on week 2, day 3 today, which is a speed day of our 16-week program. Now, if you haven't checked out any of the workouts before, I totally recommend that you go and start at day 1, week 1. You're gonna get all the instructions there for all of the workouts. There's also a PDF download in the description below that you can download. Some of the terms might be confusing outside of that. If you've been sticking around with us, you must be getting some wicked gains already, so good for you. You're gonna be super pumped about today's workout. Anyways, let's get straight into the exercises. All right, so exercise 1 today is gonna be a speed deadlift, okay? So this is where we're gonna get in a regular deadlift variation work. We're gonna take 60% of our 1 rep max. We're gonna do 10 sets of 3, moving the bar as quickly as possible during the concentric phase. So the tempo for this exercise is gonna be a 2-0, E0, 2-0, S0, 2-0, X0, whatever letter you wanna pick there. But the idea here is the concentric phase is gonna be as explosive as you can make it. All right guys, first round, again, 60%, 1 rep max. We're gonna bang out triples, take 45-second rest in between. We want a 2-second negative, and move the bar up as fast as possible. Let's do it. One down, 9 to go. In case you guys are wondering, I like to use a mouth guard. This is when I'm deadlifting or squatting, if I'm trying to move the bar fast, or if I'm trying to move heavyweight, I really like to bite down. So if you're wondering why I got stuffed in my mouth, just a mouth guard, keep me from shattering my teeth as I'm going. This isn't necessarily particularly heavy, but because I'm trying to generate as much velocity as possible, I like to use my belt here because I'm really kind of yanking into the weight as much as possible. So if you don't have a belt, make sure you can brace really hard. By brace, what I mean is bearing down in the midsection. So you're gonna take a big deep breath in, and then you're gonna push down into your midsection as if you're about to get punched by Mike Tyson. You also wanna kind of pull up from the bottom. So don't push out without pulling up at the same time. Otherwise you can do damage to your lower half, and that's bad news bears. On to the next set. All right guys, that's 9 down. We got 1 more to go. Short rest here. Again, I know I always say it, but don't forget your AminoFast during your workout. I'm a huge fan. It tastes great, keeps me hydrated, helps keep my performance up. I've done workouts without it, and I just find I get like a 5 to 10% burst just by having a little bit more energy in my system and staying more hydrated. So I use it all the time. Woo. 1 exercise down. Next exercise is gonna be speed squats. So we're gonna do our barbell back squat variation. Same idea, 60% of an approximate 1 rep max, 10 sets, 3 triples, 45 seconds rest in between sets. Now again, guys, if you're wondering why do we do this speed work, it comes down to simple physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. So if you want to get strong, you got to be able to move the bar fast as well. Having a dynamic component to your workouts, super helpful in working that other part of the strength speed curve. But on top of that, it allows your central nervous system a chance to have a bit of a break from that max effort work that you did earlier on in the week. I think my time is up. Let's get into the next round. And notice I'm trying to punch through those as fast as I can, almost to the point my feet are leaving the ground. So be really careful with that. If you're not experienced and you're not careful, you could lose the bar, you get stuck behind, pull your arms back. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend you do that. That's just something I'm comfortable with, and it helps me to get in that mindset of pushing the bar as fast as possible. So I'm okay with doing it. The other thing too, in terms of the rack, kind of for filming purposes, we're coming outside the rack, but typically I would squat inside the rack while I'm doing this. That way I can have my safeties there in case something goes wrong. But right now, I'm pretty comfortable. I've done lots of squats. This is fairly lightweight for me, so I'm not worried about anything going wrong. I'm not going wood. I'm gonna have this outside the rack, but typically I'll recommend you having your weights inside the rack. Time to get battle ready. The war paint gave me the extra kick there. That was awesome. All right, that's it for the explosive work today. Now we're on to our lat pull down, 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. I'm gonna clean up here. I'll meet you guys over the lat pull down machine. All right, guys, exercise number 3, lat pull down, 10 to 12 reps, 2-second negatives, 1-second concentric. Here we go. All right, now 90-second rest, rinse and repeat. All right, guys, so I mentioned this last week when we were doing this day, but just in case you want a couple tips on different variations of this that you can do, or different hand spacing, as a general rule, I usually like to keep my hands just outside shoulder width if I'm trying to get the maximum amount of stimulus on the lats. If I want to put a little bit more emphasis on the rear delts, I'm going to go out a lot wider. That's going to shorten the rep range. You'll definitely notice that it helps to fill out that back part of your shoulder cap. And then there's also close grip variations. Putting your hands closer is a really nice way to keep in mind your back has all sorts of different little muscles there too. Hit it with all different angles, all different variations. Switch it up frequently if you want. You can't hurt yourself by doing a ton of different variations. We're getting into the next set. Now, one of the things I really like to do as well, at the top of the rep to get an added stretch, I like to drive my head forward between my arms. Keep in mind that your lats are actually attached to your arms on the internal side here. So if you stop here, you're not really getting a full stretch. If you drive the head forward, you get a little bit better range of motion. The muscle that stretches the most, oftentimes is gonna be the muscle that grows the most. Full range of motion is never a bad thing. All right, last set. All right, guys, that's it for our lat pull downs. Now we're over to the bent over dumbbell rows. I'm gonna wipe down my machine. We'll head over to the dumbbell rack. I'll see you over there. Just a quick coaching tip on this one. Make sure when you're sitting up for your row, I always think chest up, butt out. So I don't want my back to be round like this. I wanna make sure that I'm trying to straighten out my lower back, brace the core, elevate the rib cage. I really want to encourage scapular mobility here. So I want to let my shoulders come all the way down, and I want to make sure I'm bringing them all the way into this kind of down and back position where it's almost like I'm trying to put them in my back pockets. If you start doing that, you'll really build those mid traps, all those little muscles that poke out of the back. You'll start filling those in really good. Make sure you get a lot of that scapular retraction while you're doing your rows. Now, on to set number 2. Now, you'll also remember from previous videos, I said I got 3 rules. Number 1, protect the money maker, protect the baby maker. Number 3, whatever you throw on the ground is gonna roll back at your toes. As a person that's dropped weight on their toes before, trust me, you do not want that to happen. Next, we're gonna head over to the chest supported row. So similar variation. We're gonna have to lighten the weight a little bit because we won't be able to use any body English and get our lower body involved. Great variation for isolating the lats. I'm gonna put these weights away and I'll meet you over there. All right, guys, so we're on to our chest supported row. We got 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Here at the Blue Star Gym, we got a lot of cool machines. One of them just happens to be a chest supported row. So I'm gonna do it on the machine today, but if you guys don't have access to this, you can just use a normal incline bench and you can do it with dumbbells or barbells. Either way, it's still gonna be equally effective. But I thought I'd have a little fun and give this machine a go. So here we go. So again, guys, big thing here, like I said, with all back exercises, scapular mobility, okay? Try your best to let the shoulders come all the way out. And then when you do the contractile phase, make sure you pinch those shoulder blades together and down during the contraction. Got a 90-second rest, and we're on to round 2. Last one. Oh, this machine is wicked. And one more round. And one of the things too here, guys, is that anytime you're doing these types of variations too, your hand placement can vary as well. So hand placement elbow placement. If you flare the elbows out this way a little bit more, again, you're gonna focus a little bit more on the mid traps, the rear delts. If you bring the hands a little bit lower, keep them overhand, you'll focus a little bit more on the lats as well. Play around with different variations, find out which one you like the best, but don't be afraid to fart around and do all sorts of different stuff. All right guys, that's it for that exercise. Now we're on to the straight arm pull down for 3 sets of 12. All right guys, time for the last exercise in the workout here. We're gonna do a straight arm cable pull down. So a couple quick pointers here before you start this. I like to set myself up in order to get the best range of motion out of this. So instead of just standing straight up, I'm gonna hinge my butt back so I can get a good stretch on my lats right off the hop. As I'm coming down, I know I'm gonna run into my legs here. So what I wanna do is actually straighten up a little bit so I can get that much more of a contraction. And I'm gonna try to squeeze my shoulder blades together and down as I'm doing that full contraction, just to get a nice good squeeze. Okay, so 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps, 90-second rest. Let's get to it. There are different ways to do this too. You could do it if you felt so inclined. You could do it laying on a bench with a rope setup or a bar setup behind you. There's dumbbell variations as well. You could also do this with a rope attachment if you want. Sometimes people find that they get a little bit better range of motion because then they can bring their hands back even further. The big thing, just depending on the machine, is to make sure that you're able to get a nice good stretch at the top of the rep, okay? So whatever variation you pick, make sure you're going through the full range of motion, get a good stretch, get a good contraction, try to stick in that 10 to 12 rep range. Now I'm on to the next set. Whew. 2 now, 1 more to go. You guys might feel these a little bit in the triceps as well. That's okay, because the triceps gonna be stabilizing the elbow joint. Remember, when you're doing these, you wanna keep the elbow locked out. So this isn't a tricep extension. This is a lat kind of pull-over type exercise. So the idea here is not to be extending the elbows stay fixed, and we're gonna pull through using just the lats alone, okay? Got 1 more round, we're gonna finish the workout. I'm gonna bang this out, get it done. All right guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the workout. It's the last exercise of the day. Now listen, don't forget that I still want you to get 15 to 20 minutes of work capacity stuff in. So that can be loaded carries, sled pushes, you can do crawls, you can do battle ropes, whatever you want, just make sure you get it in there. Now if you like this workout, please hit like and subscribe. Follow us every week. We're putting out another one of these badass workouts. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section as well. I go through them myself. We'll always do our best to make sure we answer any questions you have. Outside of that, we'll see you on the next workout. Stay strong.